Hey everyone, and welcome to this sixth episode of the amino acids series that we have here on the Escapist Corner. Today we're going to look into one of the amino acids that you've probably never heard of. It's called threonine, and it's one of those essential amino acids that your body cannot produce itself. So it's essential to get it from a diet, from the outside. And if you don't get enough of it, you're going to be in trouble. And we're going to go through some of the things that happen if you don't get enough of threonine in your diet. But we're going to look into also some other good studies here. And I thought at the end we'll share a bit of a highlight study, I would say. We're going to go through also what to eat and what the sources of it and what not to eat so you don't limit the intake of threonine. And before we get going, remember, if you can subscribe to this, like this episode or so, that helps me to get motivated to do more of these episodes if you think it's helpful for you. But also, if you don't want to do that, share it with someone if you think they would like to know this. And also remember to look into the other amino acids. I will do probably one longer episode at the when I'm done with these, where I do all the amino acids in one go and kind of summarize everything. So threonine is very crucial and important for your gut lining, and it keeps bad stuff going into the body, and we're going to look into why. It is good for your skin and connective tissue repair. And we talked about that before, like, we all know that collagen usually has to do with this, but one of the backbones to create collagen comes from having enough threonine in your body. It helps with liver detoxification and fat metabolism. So if you look to get leaner, it might be good to have this in your diet too. Immune system resilience is also one of these highly important roles of this essential amino acid, and it's antibody production. Let's look into the science of threonine and gut health. In a study, they had a 6-week randomized controlled trial with healthy participants, and then they put them on a deficient diet of threonine. And in these 6 weeks, they had a 32% drop in mucin production. And mucin is that inner lining of the gut, and that protects your intestines and basically reverses leaky gut. And if you have lower production of this, you're going to have more inflammation markers and more inflammation happening in your gut. And this is such a common thing that happens for people that they're unaware of. And it's probably one of the most common problems people have. And that is the leaky gut. And the common symptoms for a leaky gut is a bloated gut, bloated belly. And also having food intolerances is a good indicator that it might be a sub-level of mucin production going on. Brain fog, skin conditions, joint pain, and mood issues are also linked to a leaky gut. So the long-term risks are autoimmune diseases, and those common ones are Hashimoto's disease, Crohn's disease, diabetes, fatty liver, chronic fatigue, and obesity. And the simple way to kind of explain this is that this is kind of the last barrier in your body to protect yourself from invaders. And those invaders could be bacteria, it could be viruses, it could be also high sugars. So usually having some protection there is going to be beneficial, again, also against other things that you might be intolerant against, like gluten or so. And it might be one of the first triggers or like indications of dysfunction that could actually be like a really early sign that you could have a chronic metabolic disease coming in the future. We're talking now about like a decade or so, or maybe sometimes more, but like those kind of symptoms are telling us that something is not right. We also had another study where they looked into threonine, and in this one they had this one was published in the Nutrients journal, and they had 90 elderly participants, and they had declining immunity. And the researchers added threonine and added 30% above the recommendation daily allowance for 12 weeks, and the participants showed 18% higher levels of antibodies, meaning they were better at fighting disease in their bodies. They had fewer infections, and especially during the winter period, compared to the control group that didn't get this. And they had improved gut microbiome diversity. And that is also important to see that the gut is doing well. So the main takeaway here is that low threonine be one of the hidden reasons why poor immune responses happens in older elderly populations. All right, next one we're gonna look into is threonine and skin and joint and liver health, and it's one of the key components when you build collagen and elastin and the formation of those molecules. And it supports your skin elasticity, wound healing, and joint health. It involves in the production of glycine and serine. Glycine is super important building block for collagen, and they are also important for detoxification and metabolic health overall. Yeah, chronic low intake of threonine has been associated with poor wound healing. So if you know that you never stop bleeding, and if you have like a very stiff skin, you press your skin and there's like a mark there forever. Fatty liver development, that can be harder to see from the outside, but you have those other triggers that you can see. Okay, so the best food sources for threonine, and this is then based on 100 grams of intake. The highest one when it comes to food is salmon and chicken. So you get 1 gram per 100 grams. How much you're going to get, and so per day we're going to go through in a second. Beef has almost 1 gram, and eggs has almost also 1 gram. So those are all pretty high. If you're plant-based, it's going to be a bit lower. The highest up here is soybeans, 0.6 grams, but you will need to eat a bit more because of bioavailability. So you probably need to up that intake and think about reduce about 30% to have the right number there. It's like most in these cases when it comes to essential amino acids, you will have better uptake in all the animal-based products. What inhibits the uptake of and absorption of threonine otherwise? Well, alcohol is not good for that. And we also have, if you have high sugar diets or highly refined and ultra-processed foods and seed oils, they will also inhibit the uptake of threonine, just like all the other essential amino acids. And if you have deficiency in the B vitamins and magnesium, and this is really required for threonine metabolism. So drinking a lot of coffee, like I do, is not super good because that is binding a lot of the magnesium, and the magnesium gets beat out. And so you need to manage your magnesium levels too. many components to think about. So what you want to think about is having a good intake between of vitamin B and B12, and also a good intake of the other essential amino acids. It's not just one that is needed, they are all essential. So yeah, that's why I do call that. So we have also um, just the uptake of other nutrients, and fat is also important, and vitamin C is also important for transportation of these. Okay, so one last study we're going to look into. This is from the Clinical Nutrition Journal again. They tested the effects of severe threonine restriction in healthy adults, and they had 18 participants doing a threonine deficient diet for 4 weeks, and they monitored gut health and immune markers and liver enzymes. The results were within 3 weeks that the participants had 70% reduction in mucin production in the intestines. So not very fast results in a bad way. They had increased gut permeability, meaning a leaky gut, and higher inflammation, and a significant drop in hemoglobin levels. And they also already had signs of fatty liver disease. And a quote from that study says, I'm going to quote it to you: "Threonine deficiency compromised intestinal health and systemic immunity within a remarkably short period." Some final takeaways we can look into when it comes to this is that threonine is very important for your gut health, your skin repair, immune function, and detoxification. And we want to avoid leaky gut. If there's anything we want to take away from today, is that leaky gut is something that we can quickly see or like feel ourselves. If we have a bloated belly, I feel that after our meals, that's already a quick sign of that we are having intestinal problems. So next time you eat and you see that you're having a leaky gut, or you have a bloated gut, just note down what that food was. Next time you eat it, and you can experiment with this. If you get that again, that's probably a marker to say that this one is causing this. And if you're having this like chronically, it might be a good tell that you're chronically in a low level of these essential amino acids. And that is kind of my goal with this, that you can check further and do some own research by yourself, look into how how you feel yourself, and that you are feeling healthy and happy. And that's my goal with this. So I hope this inspired you a bit to look further and to dig deeper into everything that has to do with essential amino acids and your health and your gut and all of those things. So thank you so much for listening today, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.